How's it going, everyone? Wayne the Unknown here, and welcome to another episode of Cosplay Con Talk, where we basically discuss everything pertaining to the cosplay community and conventions. Tonight, we are doing another segment on Get to Know That Cosplayer, and tonight's featured cosplay guest is Marvelous Rachel. How are we doing tonight, Rachel?
Great, thanks for having me.
You're really welcome. Thank you for coming on. So, I'm sure you're familiar with the series. Basically, we'll talk about what got you into cosplay, how long you've been cosplaying, some of your favorite cosplays, and stuff like that. So to begin, how long have you been cosplaying for?
I've been cosplaying on and off for about 12 years, honestly. But really, I got hardcore into it and stayed with it for the past, I guess, 3 years now. What is COVID time? Yeah, since 2018, I went to Dragon Con. I decided to go literally 2 weeks before the con, made a Black Widow cosplay very last minute, met a lot of really amazing people there, and then they were like, you should stay with cosplay, you should make a cosplay Instagram. And I was like, okay. And then I've kind of just been with it since then. So since Dragon Con 2018, so about two and a half years about now.
But altogether, collectively 12 years?
Collectively 12 years, just went every now and then. I was like, this was fun, this is a lot of money and energy, and then college, school life, so it was too hard to go deep into it. And then I just found that awesome group of people in 2018 and stuck with it.
Nice. What's it been like cosplaying for that long?
You see where it's really changed a lot. That first year of cosplaying, I had got a Sakura off eBay, and then I came to, it was an anime convention, and people told me they made it. I was like, oh, people make this? How is that possible? What do you do? What is a sewing machine? I had no idea that people had this creativity to make everything, and where you found the resources, patterns and everything, and everyone's builds together, all these different forums. And so it's so crazy to see that you can actually buy cosplays more easily now. You can go buy foam and patterns and books and everything. It's going from 100 people doing it to over 1 million almost.
I know I've heard stories for cosplayers that I consider cosplayers who've been doing it for 10 plus years in a category called cosplay veterans.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they're the ones who've kind of seen the change over the years. Finding out you can make your own cosplays, you can buy EVA foam, which I imagine wasn't easy back then.
Yep. Back then, you got exercise mats.
That's funny enough. I actually had a cosplayer I recently interviewed tell me how they use exercise mats for making armor and everything.
Yep.
I can't imagine what it was like using that.
There's a lot of sanding because they're so thick, and not all armor you want to be that thick.
Right.
And now 3D printing is so cheap and easy that people just 3D print most of their parts. I'm one of those people.
Hey, I mean, if it works, I know that they're always coming out with some kind of new 3D printer. I think I've recently heard about one called Anycubic, which is like a resin 3D printer or something.
Yeah, it's crazy how big resin is now. Resin used to be professionals only, and now a lot of people have those small resin printers, which is great for making your own molds and stuff too.
I believe it. So what was your very first cosplay 12 years ago?
I was Sakura from Naruto Shippuden. And it's so funny, I remember getting it, I was like, this is the best costume ever. My dad got it for my birthday. It was ordered from this random website through eBay. It took 3 months to get here.
So it must have come from across seas then.
Across seas, it was lost in the mail. It came 3 months basically after my birthday. But it was very, very basic. And it's so funny to see the companies now, for that same price, you get way more complex stuff in 2 weeks. But it was so fun. I use it in a lot of my cosplay glow up pictures because I look like a 10-year-old. It's just so far how you can see and the shiny, super shiny wigs. And I think I did have color context then because it was popular in Asian culture anyway. So I had access to that before it became super widespread like it is now.
Yeah, no, looking at wigs back then, I know a lot of people still use shiny wigs, but I feel like back then it was before like people found out like before lace front wigs got more cheaper for cosplayers.
Yeah, yeah. And also, a lot of cosplayers figured out hacks to take out the shine, like the dry shampoo or dryer sheets. It's like so crazy all the different hacks that people have come up with for those.
And but you being in that category of cosplay veterans, I imagine a lot has changed over the years with your cosplays as well.
Yeah, they've changed a lot, especially within the past 2 years. So I try to like improve my craft every single time because every time I look back, like we're our own worst critic, honestly. So I'm like, I can't believe I wore that, or like I need to make this better, or I'm just gonna throw away the whole thing. I'm gonna try and alter it, and then just try and get better and better with like fabrics and materials. Because also another thing with like it's not about just how it looks, but how comfortable you are. Because if it's like uncomfortable or you like tear and move, then you're not gonna have a good convention either.
And
So
speaking of,
taking that into account.
what was your very first convention all those years ago?
Anime Weekend Atlanta.
I've never heard of that.
It's a smaller, well, it's kind of big now, but back then it was a small anime convention, still held at the same hotel in Atlanta. And they have like panels, like really cool vendor hall. I remember they had a Pikachu Volkswagen Bug there, which was really fun.
I think I've seen pictures of that before.
Yeah, it was at that convention. I think they travel around with it. That was my first convention, and that convention is in about a month and a half, end of October. So I'm going to that again. Full
Nice.
circle.
Hey, I feel like it's always. I think if the convention still exists, I think it's always fun to go back to your very first convention.
Mhm.
Um, did you go by yourself or with friends, family?
My parents took me, so that was also an interesting experience because I had no idea what cons were like. So there are always like some of those like con goers that you don't want your parents to see. And I was like in high school, and so my parents were like, "Is this what a con is?" And then we went to the vendor hall, and it was an anime convention, so they had like yaoi and yuri
Oh
everywhere,
no!
and they should have covered some things up, which now they cover them up, but there was
Oh,
no censorship,
oh
and
no! I believe
I was
it.
just like, so I felt so awkward because with my parents and my mom was like, "Ooh, what's this?" I was like, "No, no, let's keep
Yeah, I
walking."
mean that time era is like I remember first hearing about conventions and cosplay back in 2009, and then hearing about Yao and Yuri and seeing that how it's you definitely see it more like with body pillows and everything nowadays at cons.
That's what it was, and the wall scrolls. And so my parents were like, "Is this what anime is? Is this what you're watching?" And then they like started asking me all these questions. I was like, "No."
No.
I mean, they're like these books, but I look at the shonen stuff.
At least it sounds like your parents were very supportive of your hobby though, which is nice.
Yeah, for some parts, like the anime part, but they were like, cosplay is definitely a hobby. Don't spend so much time and money on it. School's like number one importance, which is
Oh
also
yeah, no,
why
understandable.
it's like back burner. But
Kind of why you took a break for a while, but then got back into it back and fully got back into it in 2018.
yep, got that adult job and money now.
So flash forward, flash forward 6 years later. What's cosplay been like for you ever since then? Since you know, fully committed to it.
It's been a lot of really awesome opportunities and connecting with more people, and especially even like the industry people like Amazon Prime. Just a lot of really awesome experiences to talk about cosplay, the characters, like all the things that we're really passionate about for the fandoms, and making a lot of really awesome friends that way. Like this past Dragon Con, I got to connect with so many old friends we haven't seen in so long, and I made a bunch of new friends that way that I've just seen like across Instagram, and getting to like make facial connections and friendships that way, and just it's a lot of really good energy with those kinds of people. So lots of fun memories that are like priceless, I guess is to say.
Nice. And from what I looked at from your Dragon Con experience, it looks like you had a lot of fun cosplaying from Black Widow, and I believe you cosplayed as a Buzz Lightyear.
I did. I did a sexy Buzz Lightyear. And what's also funny with that is my friend like got these like squeaker toys,
Mhm.
and then she was like Starlight, and then she was like, look at this, and I was just like, it blew my mind. I was like, hey, I'll be Buzz Lightyear later if you want to, like, if you have extras. And she's like, it has to happen, like this is destiny. So that was really fun to put squeakers in like the Buzz Lightyear bra and just like get in the elevator while it's all dead quiet and just go squeak squeak. Always such fun memories making people laugh that way.
Now, when someone wants to go to their first, so I guess like since I've talked to a lot of people, I've talked to a few people here and there who've gone to Dragon Con. What advice would you want to give someone who is going to go to their first con, and that first con is Dragon Con?
First con is Dragon Con. So Dragon Con's a very big con, but it was my first con after that Anime Weekend Atlanta experience. So I went by myself for the first time. So I would recommend kind of finding out about badge pickup, where to stay, where to really like eat and get water, and also just bring a water bottle with you, because the thing that gets most people at Dragon Con is exhaustion, especially heat exhaustion, because it is in Atlanta and
During the
it's
summer.
really hot. Yeah, it's really hot. And it tends to get really crowded. This year wasn't as crowded as usual, but bring lots of water and snacks, because you'll tell yourself you're too tired to walk and find food, which will probably happen. So always pack snacks and water. And just don't take things too seriously, and you're there for fun.
I know like what Dragon Con's held at like what 4 or 5 different hotels.
Yeah, it's like 4 or 5 host hotels, but the main 3 people go to is like the Hilton, Hyatt, and Marriott.
I mean, I can't imagine, not just, trying to get a room at the con, but imagine tickets aren't, cheap either.
If you buy them early, they're not bad. For a 4-day pass, it's, I want to say $90.
That's not bad.
Yeah, if you buy it, I think till the October or something. I don't remember. They change the dates every time, and who knows if they did a COVID date, but they're not bad for 4 days. It's nothing compared to like New York Comic Con.
No, you're spending like over $200 for like
a 1-day pass.
Something like that. I know like the more mainstream cons like San Diego Comic Con, New York Comic Con, and whatever other Comic Cons they have, like that are like well known. Your commercial cons basically.
Yeah,
they're a lot more expensive. Like you're probably spending $100 just for 1 day.
Yeah. Whereas Dragon Con, you get 4 days if you spend that. If you wait longer, obviously it's more, but I think if you buy it in like February, March, it's $140, which is usually when people buy it, because then they're like trying to get the hotels after other people, because next month is when there is the Hunger Games. And that's when you basically try to like win a hotel room. You like log in and are like ready to reserve, right, and hope you get a room in time.
Well, I know, because imagine the people are wanting, they figured if the cons could be at the hotel, they're going to try to get a room at said hotel, so they're not having to drive or take a cab or a bus or whatever just to get to the con. They could just like walk downstairs and there they are.
Yep. And there's a special Dragon Con room rate too, so it's not crazy expensive.
A lot of cons. I know a lot of cons do that too. Some cons do. So, what was it like when you made your very first cosplay by yourself?
My very first cosplay by myself that I made, I think, what was that? It was probably that Black Widow one. Yeah, that Black Widow one. And I worked with foam the first time for that. It was a lot. I would recommend doing 2 weeks beforehand, but it was I became a master with hot glue, and those like little LED fairy lights can always make everything look a lot more extra than it actually is. It was a lot of planning with like cardboard first and the foam, and just like a lot of trial and error, and kind of also accepting it for what it was. But it was fun.
What version of Black Widow did you cosplay as?
I did Infinity War. So the vest with the pockets. But mine did not have pockets.
Nice.
The fake zipper. And then I made her batons with clear PVC and 2 millimeter foam, so thin, and I could just like cut the little markings on it, and then I like, did I use super glue? I think I super glued it to the clear PVC and put the LED lights inside, so it looked
Kind of
a
like in
lot
the movie.
fancier.
Now, did you have your like actual hair color, or did you wear a wig? Because I know in the movie she has like blonde hair, I believe.
I had blonde hair, longer blonde hair at the time, and as you can see, I'm starting to go back to that after seeing the Black Widow movie again. I keep reverting to the characters. Love Yelena so much. I was like, I'm gonna grow my hair out again and make it exactly like her. I got double lobe piercings. I'm just gonna
Nice.
slowly convert into her and cosplay her basically every day.
And you actually cosplayed her too at Dragon Con, if I'm not mistaken.
I did. Probably my favorite Black Widow cosplay I've done. I did a lot of work with the props for that, and I got a really decent wig for that as well. It was a lace front.
Nice. Now this video won't be posted for a while, of course. Let's see here. A question I also ask is for advice, especially for the cosplayers who've been doing this for so long. What are your thoughts on thrifting for first-time cosplayers?
Excellent. It's very good. I do that as well, especially for other pieces of cosplay. I've done it for first cosplays and even just like making my own versions of a cosplay, like the Joker. You can just have so much fun with it. I did a bunch of different pieces together to make my Joker for New York Comic Con, and everyone gets it. It's just you have the same color palette or his face makeup. But a lot of pieces are thrifted for the movies too. So I say, like, if you can thrift it, do it.
Plus, it gives it that more realistic look too, in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of items did you have to thrift for Joker?
For Joker, I did a purple blazer, a like green tank top, and then I got the gun holsters, and then brown corduroy pants.
Nice.
So like orange, they were orangish, and then like a yellow scarf.
Very nice. Now, one question I don't think I've ever asked any cosplayer: have you ever had to dye clothes? You're like, ever have to dye your clothes for cosplay before to match a certain color palette for a character?
I have. So I did Elsa from Frozen 2, and she has that blue ombre. So I blue ombre fabric for the first time and leggings. Because like if you like dye whole, I've done dye whole, you just put the whole thing, but ombre you have to like hold it and then raise it up slowly and then spray with like cold water to get it to fade just right. But I've done that before. It was stressful to do because her dress is so long.
Oh yeah, no, I know people like do it in a bathtub or use pots and pans.
Yep, I stood on a mini ladder over the pot. I was like, please let me not drip this anywhere.
And I know some people also do that with their wigs as well. Have you ever had to do that too?
I did. I tried and failed.
Or what was the wig for?
It was for Nat's Endgame hair, where she has the red to the blonde.
Oh,
I couldn't get the red to stay in the red. It kept bleeding into the blonde.
That ombre-ish color she has.
Yeah, I wanted to just like dunk it and be done, but to do it right, you have to do it piece by weft. Because some other widows have done it very well, but I'm too lazy, so that's why I failed.
So I imagine you had to buy a wig and do it that way.
I ended up just dyeing all of my hair red and then braiding in blonde extensions for it.
Hey, as long as that worked.
Yep, worked. No one knew.
Now, what's that one cosplay that you haven't done in so long that you would potentially want to bring back?
Ooh, I think the Infinity War Widow, because that was that first one in 2018 that I had like really made in everything as far as like armor was the first time. I have a new vest that's a lot better, and I want to take a hit at the armor and stuff again with like the 3D print stuff, because I made the batons, because I made the Infinity War batons for Yelena for this year just because I couldn't find the files for her new pulse. I was like, I'll just use the Infinity War ones. Who's gonna know? So I've made those with the 3D print and I've liked them a lot, but I want to take a revisit to her Infinity War bites and everything else.
Nice. Now, for cosplaying, as long as you have you ever entered any cosplay competitions?
I've entered one. I did that for MomoCon. I did a fantasy Momo from My Hero Academia, and my friend was the fantasy Todoroki. So it was my first time making full armor with like Warbler and stuff, and Warbler was a lot harder to work with than I expected. So it's basically like she has like bikini armor and then like a lot of like
Who's the
capes and
character?
stuff. Momo from My Hero Academia.
I'm not
So
familiar with the anime, sadly.
search fantasy Momo, and it's like one of the special outros that they have. They
Okay.
basically gave them like cool fantasy clothes for each character, and so my friend did Todoroki and I did Momo, and we entered the cosplay competition for that. And
Okay,
yeah,
I see. She's like wearing like a metallic like armor or something.
yep. And then
Okay,
it has
I
like the frills and like a
the red dress, the red like red
necklace, the
skirt
red
thing.
cape, boots. Yeah.
Okay, wow, that's impressive. Nice. What was it like entering that
Yeah, so I
cosplay
made that.
competition?
There was a lot of waiting. So cosplay competitions I didn't realize took up so much. I feel like it was 90% waiting and then 10% actual judging or like walking across the stage. Probably not even that. Probably like 98% waiting and then 2% everything else. Because you have to wait in line for prejudging, and then prejudging. Since I had no idea what to expect, I didn't really prepare anything. We like kind of just walked in and talked about the cosplays, but a lot of people brought like binders with like reference photos of what they did for the build, what parts they were making screen accurate, and kind of like showing off the seams. And then they asked like what your favorite part was. And I tell you what my favorite part of like the show and not my costume, which is probably not what they were asking. So
it it seems like some cosplay competitions. I'm not trying to like put hate on them. They don't really explain the rules right away. I know a lot of uh convention websites. They don't always say what the rules are for the contests as well.
they definitely don't. It's not that clear. It makes sense after you've done it, but if you've never done it before, it like what does this mean when you say this? Like he's like, what's your favorite part? Like what does part mean, you know? So and it's nerve-wracking because it's like they're literally like they're judging you, and if you don't know what you're doing, if it's like your first time competing, you don't know what to really answer or how you're supposed to answer. We honestly, I also probably could have prepared better by reading or watching more videos or something, but it's kind of hard to learn that way. I'm a very kinesthetic learner. But walking across the stage was fun. We did like a cute little like hand kiss thing because they're like a ship in the anime. Um, but it was a lot of waiting.
I believe it. Now what's that one cosplay? It was kind of like a one and done cosplay. Like you've done it once and you never want to do it again because either something happened or it's just something that you really weren't keen on doing.
um, End game Black Widow. I that costume and every Black Widow that's worn this costume will say the same thing. That costume is the worst. It has zero stretch, but it's a jumpsuit, so you can barely move in it. And I actually ripped it along like my like butt crack.
Oh,
So my friend had to like sew me clothes in the bathroom so I could walk back to my hotel and then like sew it back, closing the seam. And I can just no one can really walk in that. Everyone has to change out and add in the stretch panel, but everyone hates that costume.
game black. Wow.
And the way that Marvel gets away with these in the movies is CGI.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like
yeah,
Captain Marvel's costume is like half CGI. It's not even
yeah.
like all put in.
That's a lot of leather
Mm-hmm.
that she wears in a. Jeez, how does anyone? How would any? I'm just like I know part of it's CGI, but like with cosplaying, you can't do CGI.
Mm-hmm.
What material did you use?
That one I bought the jumpsuit because it has so much like top stitching that has to be done in like perfect symmetry, and sewing is not my forte. Because like when I did the vest the first time, it was like slightly off, and I had to keep redoing it. I wasn't gonna do that for a jumpsuit. So it's like I want to say it's like some sort of like non-stretch mesh on top of like a satin. It's like a satin liner inside and has just no stretch at all.
Kind of like kind of like Batman's suit.
Yeah, kind of like Batman suit, but thankfully it is fabric, so it has some give. Because some of those foam armor costumes have zero give and will just break whenever you move.
Well, that answers my question. Have you ever had a cosplay rip, tear, snap, or in your case, rip in a very bad spot?
Yep, it was that SpongeBob SquarePants song. I ripped my pants.
Oh, jeez. Next question. Any experiences you like to share, whether it be like a cosplay or convention horror story, or just something that you thought was funny in your cosplay and convention years?
I think the ripped my pants one is the biggest one. But I'm thankful with that. I did pack an emergency kit. Everyone, pack an emergency kit to always take with you in case you can't find cosplay repair, because I had a needle and black thread with me, which is why I was able to fix it so quickly.
That's good. And it's also good that conventions will have like that one area where no one sees you, where if it's not that bad of a rip or tear, you can just easily sew it. And I'm sure another advice, if you have that one cosplay that you're wearing all day at a con and you get hot, bother, sweaty, would you recommend bringing a backup cosplay?
Yes, if possible, always bring a backup. I've always had like a few that I usually bring, even just like a little romper, like a Levin's romper, or just like a simple like shirt, like 9 Inch Nails is Captain Marvel. So just have a backup simple cosplay, because convention's about having fun. And if you're like sweating and dying and feel like you can't move or go to the bathroom, you're gonna be miserable. Like save half the time for like your painful cosplay and then the other half of the time in your comfy cosplay.
That makes sense. And I think I did ask this. Have you ever had any other big build cosplays that you've done that they took a long time aside from the Infinity War Black Widow?
The Marriott Carpet Dragon that I did recently took a lot of time.
Wait, who?
A Marriott Carpet Dragon. So another key Dragon Con thing is we have a lot of random cults, but they're not like crazy cults. They're like fun nerd cults. So there used to be this Marriott carpet pattern on the floor of Dragon Con, and they ended up getting rid of it. So people showed their love and appreciation for it by making cosplays of it. But people made cosplays of it before, because honestly, it's kind of horrendous. It's a lot of random like yellows, blues, reds, and spirals and stuff. So people would make fun cosplays of it. And when they took the carpet away, people just like went deeper into it. So it's a dragon that I made with a group for that pattern. So I made movable mechanical wings, and then like the whole like set costume for that. And that
kind of a nice little homage to Dragon Con.
Nice homage to Dragon Con. It was one of those if you know things, and all the cult people loved it. There's a secret spot with the carpet that still exists, and the staff took us back to it. So that was cool. It felt like a speakeasy thing. They were just like, and then we just followed them. So that was really cool and fun. So
nice.
I think that was my biggest one to deal with, because I don't like sewing, and I was sewing stretch stuff and also making wings for the first time.
Oh, jeez. Sounds like a lot of work.
It was, but it was worth it.
No, I imagine it was. Now, again, for someone who's been doing this for quite a long time, have you ever been like a panelist for a panel before at a con?
I have done a panel once. I think it was Holiday Matsuri. I was on a smaller panel then. So I've only really been a panelist once, but I love to do it again, especially at like a bigger con.
Nice. Very nice. Now, also, let's see here. Any future cosplays you would want to do, like within the next couple of years, that you haven't done, or projects that you've worked on that are not finished yet?
I've always wanted to do Voltron, a really big armor build. I've
Well, I mean,
always wanted to do that.
like the robot itself or one of the characters.
The whole robot itself.
That's, I mean, that'd be pretty cool to see, kind of like what they did in the power, like what they like, kind of like the suits, like the big robots in Power Rangers, right? Nice.
It's between that one and a Gundam.
Ooh,
I feel like Voltron might have like more fun with the different colors,
oh
but
yeah. I mean,
Gundam's making a comeback, so we'll see.
I mean, both would be pretty cool to see. I've seen people like, it amazes me how someone can like take PVC piping, cardboard, EVA foam, and then just have like a giant mech cosplay. I think that's pretty cool.
Same. That's why I was like, I wanna do that. And also one day an Iron Man cosplay with like all the LEDs and stuff because I'm an engineer and like my daily job. I was like, I should be able to do this. I could do this.
No problem.
And then I see all the like gears and like soldering and programming that has to be done. I was like, okay, I'll do that. I'll do that next year.
Nice. Now, another question I usually don't bring up because I know it's kind of like a double-edged question. Ever had to deal with any gatekeeping in your cosplay career?
I probably have, and I just like chose to let it go and forget it. So not really, thankfully. At least nothing that I can remember. Because usually, if I have like a negative experience at a convention, I'm immediately like I'm mad about it for like 5 seconds, and then I just forget about it.
Right. What are your thoughts on gaping in the cosplay community?
I think it's unnecessary, and I don't know why people do it. Like, let's just let people have fun the way that they want. Like, it's like a joyous thing. Like, why are you trying to like? Do you think you're better than them just because you have like this fact in your head or like what's canon or not? So it really makes no sense to me. I think it's just a way for them to make them feel like they're a better fan when actually that makes them a worse fan. So I don't understand when people do that. And I probably don't see it as often now because those people get canceled pretty fast.
Oh no, they definitely do. Let's see. Next question here. I'm usually good at thinking about these questions at the top of my head. Oh yeah. So back to the one question about first time con goers. If someone's scared about going to their first con, and I'm quoting this from a Disney movie, would it be wise for them to bring a quote unquote exit buddy with them?
Yes, that's what I did for Dragon Con 2018, as I brought an exit buddy with me. So we like each made our cosplays last minute and went together. We went there like 7 a.m. We're like, oh, we'll just leave at like 8 p.m. or something. We ended up staying until like 1 or 2 a.m. or something.
Oh,
very tired.
What were the last minute cosplays?
I did the Infinity War Black Widow. She did Tornado from One Punch Man.
Nice.
But yeah, exit buddy and just having a buddy at a con is always helpful. And like say they don't have to cosplay either. They can, wear normal clothes. Like and a lot of people ask me like, do you have to cosplay to go to a con? You don't have to. A lot of people don't. I would say that 60% of people don't wear cosplays.
And there's nothing wrong with that. You'll see people not wearing cosplays, or you'll see people do like a casual version. They'll basically just throw on some accessories that match the character, and people should be able to recognize it. So as we were saying, like sometimes a cosplayer will just throw on some wig and accessories to kind of match that character, so people will recognize them. I imagine you've done that a few times yourself.
Yep, I love it. Closet cosplay.
What would you say your favorite closet cosplay was?
I think Captain Marvel is my favorite. Because she has like the 9-inch nails. I literally closet cosplay just daily. Nice. And then like Harley Quinn's outfits, and then 11 from Stranger Things. So I love the 70s, 80s kind of looks.
Oh yeah, very nice. So before we end this, any last minute advice you'd like to give to for first time cosplayers or first time con goers who are thinking about getting into this?
Don't overthink it and don't listen to negative people. I know kind of what steered me away from cosplay a bit in the beginning was hearing negativity. It wasn't necessarily directed to me. Trolls trying to make themselves bigger. Oh, did it stop again?
Yeah, it's gonna
Okay.
take some editing. You were
When did
saying,
it cut off? I can start over.
right when you were talking about like the negativity and everything.
Okay. Okay. Um, so don't listen to any negative comments or negativity from people. As long as you're putting positivity into your cosplays and getting joy out of it and putting positivity in the community, keep doing it. Because good energy always leads to like good things. Don't listen to negative people. They're just trying to like, they're bullies. Like,
Basically,
ignore them.
ignore the gatekeepers. Basically,
Ignore the gatekeepers and people that are just mean to be mean, because those people will exist in any community in any world, and no one needs that. And don't let them like bring you down. And so I would say just ignore that, because the bigger and more awesome you are, the more someone will want to tear you down. It's usually what it kind of looks like. So don't listen to those people, and just have fun with it. Don't be too much of a perfectionist. It's all about fun. So just have fun.
no, I couldn't agree any more on that. I think that should about do it. Again, Rachel, thank you for coming on for this segment for Cosplay Con Talks. Get to know that cosplayer.
Thanks for
And
having me.
well, of course. And if anyone has questions or wants to ask for advice, links to her social media will be in the description below, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, again, I'm Wayne the Unknown. Thank you for watching this episode for Cosplay Con Talks. Cosplay Con Talks. Get to know that cosplayer. Until next time, thank you for listening. And as always, thank you for watching.